computer. I will be recording. May sound na ganito. Sa akin pala yun, no?
Yeah.
Why is it doing that? I should put a settings, system. Rex. There we go. Happened twice pa naman yesterday.
Which one?
That little sound when I got an email from Dropbox.
Oh, well.
I noticed that.
I think it adds also authenticity.
Recording now. Hello, Reginald. How are you today?
Recording. Hello, Matt. I am well. How about you?
I'm okay. Not too bad. Surprisingly, I had a lot of work and I haven't eaten a thing all day. I decided to fast.
And you're telling me that you just came from jiu-jitsu class this morning.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
I miss it so much, bro.
What's been happening at your side of the world?
Well, COVID recovery. This is my first. Yeah, I tested negative the last Saturday. So
congratulations.
Oh, pero I'm still tired. I'm still brain fogged. So it's supposed to last for a couple of weeks, pero it's been getting better day by day naman. So
yeah, people are talking about these long COVID symptoms. Like my mom did have certain things happen after testing negative in COVID, like anxiety, there was palpitations, hot flashes, things like that. Are you doing any protocol to mitigate your COVID symptoms?
My NAC just arrived. Actually, I just took kanina.
Nice.
Taking fish oil, D3, zinc, and vitamin C. And it seems to be working.
Well, I hope you recover much faster.
Thank you, bro. Speaking of that, though, a huge component of our immune system is affected by stress, which is today's topic.
Well, you must have been pretty stressed out the last few weeks when you got it.
I was very, very stressed, bro, because I couldn't train, I couldn't write. It's annoying.
How do you know if it's stress or if you're just having, let's say, like how do you differentiate, let's say, stress from having a bad day, let's say, or you know what I mean? Like
I think stress is the cause of a bad day.
Yeah, and it seems very subjective, right? What's stressful to you might not be stressful to me if you think about it.
But
right?
Yes, I agree. Yeah, although also,
how do you see stress anyway? Like,
well, the official definition of stress is, let me pull up this handy. I know. Well, I guess this one, the second one, the first meaning is a state of mental tension and worry caused by problems in your life or work, etc. So I guess that's a definition we can agree on.
It's cool because it says there that, well, from what I've heard from you, is that it's a mental thing first more than the external thing that's happening, right?
Mental tension and worry, yes.
Like, I do feel the same way. Like, I would define stress as anything that gets in my way, right?
Anything
that's stressful to me. If it's in my way, let's say there's a deadline I can't finish, if there's a guy that's cutting me in the road.
Some guy in ayaw mag-tap out.
No naman. But in general, right? It's anything that gets in my way. It can potentially stress me out. That's how that's my personal definition of stress, right?
So in which case though, it can stress us out, but if we don't let it stress us out, it should not.
I think so. I think that we discount the fact that the mind and the body are more integrated than we think. You know what I mean?
Would agree. Yes.
Like people tend to perceive stress as a physical thing. I feel bad. I feel, tired, overwhelmed, but it's actually coming from here first, to the mind.
And symptoms lang yung tiredness and irritability.
I think so. I think that these are actually effects more than causes, right? Because you can also see stress as two things. You can see it as internal stress. Like, I thought about something and now it bothers me. I ruminated about something happened last year when I was in someplace. When I was in grade 3, I said the wrong thing to my classmates, and now I feel bad about it. That can, you know what I mean? Like,
Till
I
now,
see,
bro, you should let that shit go on grade 3.
as an example, right? Like, external stress is definitely there. Like, you see a dog who that's
Uh-huh.
unleashed is rabid, you know,
Uh-huh.
there's a deadline your boss is making you do. That's an
Uh-huh.
external stress point, right?
Stress.
But I
Oh,
feel
yes,
like
very much
these
so.
are all just still dependent on your perception.
Mhm. Very true. Very true. But yes, in your perception. In fact, actually, exercise can help our bodies deal with stress better.
I think
It can
so.
help us
But what
because
makes you say that? Like,
adapt.
why do you think that of all things? I
Well,
mean, I
some,
can also stress eat, have a
Mhm.
hamburger,
but
have some
but
ice cream.
but that's affecting the you're attempting to address the symptoms
Mm,
rather than exercise, which is deliberately putting ourselves in a state of distress,
mm.
so that if we encounter stress in the future, we are better able to handle it. I believe I got that information from the Huberman Lab podcast, which I highly
Cool.
recommend, and we'll include links in the show notes.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm. But for you, Matt, what do you do to handle stress usually? Is it always eating? Is it always food?
Here's the thing, right? I like I don't see stress as necessarily a bad thing.
Mm,
And this is why. Like you mentioned, exercise is still a way of at which you're stressing our bodies out, right? So
mm,
having stress in bite-sized portions for me is great. It motivates you to get things done. It
mm,
motivates me to do a good job, right? It
mm.
puts my
Yep.
body, I mean, stress in small doses is actually very good for you, right?
You're talking
Have
about
you,
acute stress
yeah, like you want
versus
your body to go through a thing called hormesis, right?
yes,
Which is
acute stress. Yes,
yeah, that's it.
basically.
Like you work out, you stress the muscles out so you can get stronger,
Mm, mm.
right?
Yep. Actually, I will also put if we encounter an illness. Actually, I've read somewhere that having sex with others exposes us to their bacteria and is actually a form of hormesis
Interesting, interesting.
because it improves our immune system. But again, it is only helpful if we give our bodies enough time to recover. I'm not making the case for sleeping around and being a fuckboy or girl, as you
Well,
would.
what's wrong with that?
I didn't say anything, but I'm just not telling everyone na,
Fair
oh, so
enough.
narinig ko sa podcast, maging popo ko, biglang I'll be healthier. No,
Yeah.
we need to give our bodies enough time to rest and recover.
Mm.
So yeah, that's acute stress versus chronic stress, which
Mm.
is stress like what you said. Let's say being triggered when you have a Viber message from your boss asking for your work
Well,
or
let's
traffic.
define though first, like the difference in acute
Yeah.
stress and chronic. Because my
Uh,
understanding is an acute stressor is a one-off, right? This stressed me out.
um,
I got through it. I'm done.
anything that gives our body enough time to rest and recover and get stronger before the next dose.
Okay, interesting. So what's chronic stress then for you? Like, what is it? What does that mean?
Well, chronic stress, I gave a talk on paleo kasi, and I know that chronic stress, for example, if we keep eating stuff that irritates our gut, that's chronic stress. If we keep getting notifications from our boss, na our deadline is due, where is it, where is it, where is it? That's chronic stress. Traffic every day, chronic stress. And
Okay,
basically,
I get that.
our bodies cannot tell the difference. Our bodies cannot tell the difference. It's going to marshal resources to help us fight or flight, mobilize your hormones, adrenaline, everything. And when it does that, it will lower the immune system. Kasi, bacteria takes a while to kill us, but the bear that's threatening us will
Yeah,
kill us in one shot, diba? So
yeah.
our bodies cannot tell the difference. And if it keeps putting ourselves on alert level 4 or a red level alert terror or whatever,
I
it's
see
going to
that.
tax. It's going to tax our system.
Mm. Well, I'm not a doctor, but my
Mm-hmm.
understanding as well is that um, acute stress, you're right. The body does not distinguish between both. And what happens is, when, like, especially with fight or flight, there's a perceived stress or perceived fear or something.
Danger, actually.
The blood goes to our extremities most of the time. Because again, if there's a big bear or a rabid carabao, you know what I mean? Like a rapey bad, like rabid carabao wants to mate. Like you want to run for it. So you want the blood from your body to go to your extremities, right? What does that really do? What it does is it actually floods it out of your gut where the immune system's at, right? And that's why I think chronic stress does encourage you to get sick eventually, because it's not really keeping the immune system up to pace and strong. That's my understanding of it. And again, I'm not a doctor. Anybody here wants to correct me, hey.
You're gonna say that? Are you gonna say potentially the show's tagline we're probably full of shit?
You're probably full of shit. But as a person who dealt with a lot of chronic stress growing up, as an anxious person, like I do see the value in really having the intention to manage stress on a day-to-day basis. And I personally believe that we can do it in two ways. We can either control the environment, make it as least stressful as possible, or we make ourselves more resilient to these stresses, right? That's where working out comes in, getting enough sunlight, taking vitamins.
Bro, I know this wasn't in our show note rubric stuff, pero what do you feel? How do you feel about safe spaces? Because that's kind of what I got from what you said there. So what do you feel about having safe spaces?
Sorry, what are safe spaces?
Safe spaces are, let's say, for spaces where, well, it's this semi-new term na parang it's places where you do not get triggered, you do not get offended, I believe. So parang they're saying, for example, because I know they are necessary some places, but some people are saying universities should be safe spaces. But in my mind,
when I Googled it, right? Miriam College is the first hit. Safe spaces. What is a safe space? It's a place or an environment where a person is respected, secured, could show and communicate their true self, but there is genuine care, support system, sensitivity, equality, no judgment, and no discrimination of one's gender, age, race, social standing, and experiences.
Okay, but here's the thing though. Let's say like in schools, universities, they promote these dapat safe spaces. But there is history taught in universities. There are people of all backgrounds taught in universities. So what are the chances of people unintentionally perhaps being offended when someone, let's say, na-offend lang siya kasi parang may blending up. It's, let's say, Black History Month and the person is black and parang sinabi niya na offend, I feel I was attacked because it's not a safe space, blah, blah, blah. So the whole place will adjust for this one person. Is that it? Parang, would it not be a better way for people to develop personal resilience more? I'm not saying one or the other. I'm not saying one or the other. Pwede naman combination. Pero let's say if it's universities, you actually, I feel that you want to bring up as many ideas as possible without fear of being that's offensive. Diba? You don't want to be shut down because atrocities happened in history and they should be brought up so people can learn from it.
My understanding about that. Yeah. And it's really funny that we had to use the word safe spaces, right? If you think about it, safety comes in levels. You know what I mean?
Like, that's very interesting.
I can feel safe that I'm not going to die, most likely. I'm not going to get kidnapped, and I'm not going to be hurt. Because physically, I would, and this is just off the cuff, I'm just thinking about it. Maybe that makes sense that that's a first level. Are we safe? Because I see safety as like a self-defense thing, as a martial arts, you know, there are certain things you do like, okay, I'm walking down the street. I see a bunch of guys walking down the street as well, and it's 1 a.m., it's dark. I don't really feel safe right now. I'll probably have to cross the street.
Okay, so you'll avoid the contact.
That's safety. I
Yeah.
see it far away. I'm not even gonna like mess with that kind of situation. I'm just gonna move somewhere else.
Okay.
That's one level of precaution. Second is, okay, the person saw me and they're harassing me now. How do I now make myself safe?
You're
So
stressed
with
out. You're
this kind of
stressed out.
stuff, it's kind of silly,
Uh-huh.
isn't it? I mean,
Um,
I do recognize that everybody should be given the opportunity to feel safe, heard,
yeah.
valued.
Okay.
But to
I guess what I'm
actually
trying. Hmm.
institutionalize this as a, hey, this is a safe space.
Uh-huh.
What does it really mean?
Yun nga eh. Kasi I'm thinking when thinking about it when you brought it up kasi I had a thought na parang baka safety and stress are kind of being blurred together. Na parang, 'di ba? Na parang you're actually just stressed that this has been brought up and you feel unsafe because you feel na attacked ka when you're really just stressed. So
Yeah.
instead of looking at yourself, na parang okay, but why am I stressed? Why is this affecting me like this? You're
Yes.
going, oh no, this is danger. I'm unsafe agad.
No one should say
This
this
place is
word.
ano.
Is that it? No one should say
Yeah.
this word. No one should talk
Mm,
about this. So isn't that kind of
mm,
silly that you're actually censoring people in a way, right? You're censoring certain things. Though I do agree
mm,
that we should stop people from insulting others. I think we should stop people from bullying. I think we should stop others
mm.
from. So every person has a baseline safety requirement, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I was bullied
Ah,
as a kid. I mean, I don't like it. It's not really good for anybody if you get bullied. It's traumatic, right? So there is that. I see what they're doing. Like they're trying to kind of prevent bullying, prevent insults from happening, harassment from
mm,
happening.
yes.
But I don't know. Like I don't really have any information right now on how they're implementing safe spaces. So if
Safe
it's really
spaces.
censoring others,
Mm,
there has to be levels to it, right? It's always
uh-huh.
it can't be a black and white thing, right?
But that would make it so much easier. A lot of people will tell you so much easier. You also in a previous talk mentioned this na parang it's very easy to just think in terms of us versus them,
Yeah,
diba? So
yeah.
how do we ano that kaya? How do we address that?
I don't know. I don't know. That's gonna have to be off my head, maybe
Hmm. This is why we have guests.
how to prevent an us versus them scenario, you mean?
Thinking.
Because
Ako personally, okay, go.
yeah, go ahead, man.
Bro, well, what I was thinking is we don't think in terms of us versus them. We think of it in terms of transient us versus them. For example, pero we get to know each person as their own unique person. Na parang
Mhm.
hindi us versus them. Kasi let's say, sige, ano pa kaya? Filipino versus foreigner. It's easy to think us versus them like that. Pero why? Why? Na parang if we're eating the same food, parang is the label foreigner and Filipino relevant for an LGBT person? Let's say, is that us versus them thinking applicable for with let's say they buy a car or they shop clothes?
Mhm.
Is that relevant? Is that label relevant? Yun yung iniisip ko lang. Gender. It goes on and on.
But if you don't segment and separate details and like kind of categorize people, and I'm not saying it's good or bad, right? It still
Mm,
serves as it still has
mm.
a function in society to
It does. It
segment,
does.
have some lines and some borders. It does serve a purpose. I want
Per
to encourage,
situation.
right? I want to encourage, I guess, moving forward, us and
Mm.
them. You know what I mean? Let's just not let's
Oh.
it's so superficial to go, oh, we're all one, all the same.
Uh,
But no, we're not really. Just a simple dichotomy of male and female, adult and
mm.
child, right? So why
Mm-hmm.
not we just do it? Why not we just be more aware? Say like there's us and them, right? We're aware that there are differences, but let's find
Mm-hmm.
things in common. Let's find common ground. Wouldn't that be a great place to start? There has
That's
to be an
actually yes.
awareness of difference,
Uh-huh.
but we have to unify the differences to like, and that's the beautiful thing about being human, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, COVID did that for us. Everybody now has an end. We have a unified thing we all went through. That's
Mm-hmm.
the COVID
Yes.
situation. right?
Still going through, actually.
Right. So that's a unifying thing. But we also want to celebrate what is different, right? You're a girl, you're good at certain things. I'm a boy. I
You know,
have certain
it's
attributes.
uh-huh.
You're you're an engineer, I'm a doctor, we're different.
Mm-hmm. That's actually, you know what, when you put it in that context, oh, yeah, that's true.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so with the whole safe space, I'm gonna have to like honestly like to take a dive into this. This is the first time I'm hearing this actually. But I can
Same,
see
same,
it
same.
like you don't want to stress kids out.
You technically we do want to stress kids out, pero in the right ways. Kasi
It's like
if
working
they
out. It's like working out, right? You
like
don't
working
like
out, yeah.
lift 200 pounds right away. You start with 20 pounds, you know?
Yes, slowly and in the right way, you don't want to force them, pero you want to kind of guide people, guide kids na parang, oh, you work out because to get stronger,
Mm.
to get healthier, and
At the
it's
end of the
fun.
day,
Mm,
yeah, it serves us better to like be more resilient than to seek to control the external world so
mm.
we're not bothered. But
Yes.
I also see the other side of like
Uh,
creating an environment that is not stressful. Like let's say
mm,
habits, right? The simple thing as okay, when I wake up in the morning, I've arranged my place that it's easy for me to do, like make coffee, water the
yes.
plants. So the
Mm,
environment, as compared to me, let's say waking up late, rushing through my morning routine, that
uh-huh.
stresses me out because I'm rushing. Mentally, I do want to be late, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So there, I feel like it serves us better to be more resilient.
Mhm. So it's an interesting debate actually, and I think we can flesh out with I guess maybe a psychologist or a
That'd
sociologist
be cool.
the difference between safe spaces and stress.
Well, I really think that the root of
Mhm.
stress is most likely fear, right? It's fear.
Oh,
And the root of
I
fear
guess
is
yeah.
attachment. So don't you think that that's it? Like, because I'm
So
attached to a result I want to get, if I don't get it,
or
it kind of sets me
okay,
up to fail and I'll be stressed out. I'll feel bad
right,
about it, right?
right.
That's I'm
So
attached to that.
I want that sports car. I need this job. My boss is asking for my work, so I'm gonna lose my job. If I lose my
Right.
job, I won't have the money to get my sports car.
It's fear, it's just fear and attachment at the
So,
end of the day, I
bro,
think.
it so if I encounter a bear in the middle of EDSA, and is the fear I'm fearing? It's because am I too attached to life?
You're scared of dying, simply put, and that's stressing you out if you're
And
gonna, you know what I
and
mean? Yeah,
pero you
shit.
said attachment eh, so I'm too attached to life. Na parang I should just let go,
Yeah,
go, Mother
it's
Nature,
most of the
take it out
things.
on me.
Yeah, I think so. Like it's really that. It's attachment and fear that
Mhm.
causes stress. Look at the opposite. If you're
Makes sense.
detached, right? If there's no attachment to a result
Uh-huh.
and you're doing
Mm-hmm.
it and you're in the present moment and you're just
Mm-hmm.
there, don't you think that life would be a bit less stressful?
It would be a
Right?
lot less stressful, pero the thing is though, but not all stress is bad.
Let me
Like you
ask you
said,
this. What's the most recent event in your life, if you don't mind me asking, that stressed you out in a bad way?
well, I would say not not submitting my work on time. It should have been submitted last week, but then again, I got COVID, so parang I
Right.
was stressing myself out. I was stressing myself
So
the
don't you
fuck
think
out.
that at the root of that there is some fear that
Then,
you're dealing with and some attachment issues that you're dealing with to a result?
believe it or not, I have dealt with it.
Yeah,
So I fear. It's actually I mentioned it. I fear that I will lose income and I won't be able to do the
there
things
you
I
go.
want to do because of that. Pero pero you see, I'm stronger now because that stress gave me the opportunity to rise to the occasion.
Yeah,
So yun
there you
yung
go.
inano ko. And parang
So
it's taught me to take a better care of myself.
yeah, that's it. So there, like, isn't that
Uh,
cool that
it is
stress in
super.
small doses with the right mindset can actually make you a better person in a way.
So we shouldn't fear stress.
I don't think we should fear stress. I think we should probably plan for it in a smart way. You know what I mean?
Plan for it. Be
Like
more
going to the
resilient.
sauna once a week, getting a
Bro,
good
I
workout
am.
in thrice a week. I'm not
I
saying
am.
fight with your spouse or your partner once a
Uh-huh.
week to like stress yourself
Yeah.
out. No, I'm saying like
Yep,
do the
yep.
good stress, right? The ones that actually make you more resilient.
Yeah. Yes. So
Even
that
stressful
what
conversations done the right way can
difficult.
be beautiful, right? It can be
Yes,
alchemized
and
into a something better.
healthy relationships require difficult conversations, uncomfortable conversations, rather,
Yeah. Because
supposedly.
so like going to like stress management, right? So that's stress
Mhm.
resilience. That's just take stress in small doses, plan for it. Great.
Mhm.
But let's say you're there, right? You're there, you're kind
Mhm.
of pissed off, you're sweaty
Mhm.
palms, you're palpitating. How do you manage
Uh,
that for you in your life?
for me personally, my main drivers are exercise. So
Right.
exercise, I get good workout in, among the jiu-jitsu, weightlifting,
Mm,
sometimes running. Then the second one is sleep. I make sure to prioritize sleep, which is very difficult, excuse me, because um, the best sleep now is from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Those hours
mm, mm,
are
mm.
locked into our circadian rhythm na the body, the brain, it's all going to into regenerative mode. Anything after that is parang hindi na siya yung deep sleep. So that's the second thing.
Wow.
And sleep affects a lot of things, mood, digestion, diba? Recovery sa gym. Then the
Mm,
third one is social connections.
interesting.
Is it being with the right people, talking to the right people. You know this. Can if they're good mirrors to us, if they're articulate, if they know how to listen well, if they don't offload
Yeah.
emotional stuff, bigla, or they can help us see ourselves and what we're feeling more. If
Right.
we feel seen, heard, and validated, they can do a world of difference when we are um, stressed,
That's
diba?
beautiful, man.
Yeah,
Because
man. How about you? How about you?
for me, it's always been alcohol, smoking, and sugar. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, shit,
But
bro.
I do have a negative way of coping with
Although,
stress. Sometimes I stress eat.
mm-hmm,
I I have a
mm,
drink, you know,
uh-huh,
at the end
yep,
of the day
yeah,
to take. And I notice that with people with high stress jobs, like
mm,
of course not everybody, but I do
mm,
see a proportion of people, let's say after work, they have to have drinks. You know what I mean?
or a cigarette.
Cigarettes after every hour to manage that stress.
Yeah,
So in a way, that's the dark side of managing stress, right?
yeah,
Because you
yeah.
wish to control everything, you turn to addiction sometimes.
Uh,
Like,
well, actually, okay. Can I
go for it, man.
insert something, bro? Actually, what a great way I've heard to reframe it is not what you said when you say when you cope with stress, you turn to bad habits, diba?
Yeah.
Or something. Actually, what a great way someone put it online, I heard is um, low vibrational coping methods.
Okay, I can see
So
that.
they are still valid.
Hmm.
It's just some people will choose burpees over cocaine. Yun
Right.
lang. Pero that doesn't maybe right now all you have time for is to get the whiskey and the drink. You don't want to
Right.
prepare and go to the
Right.
workout. That's super fine because parang if we penalize ourselves or chastise ourselves down na parang oh no I had a drink and tanga-tanga ako. We just lowering ourselves
It's
even
a
more.
vicious cycle, right?
It
I'm
is.
stressed out. I'm gonna have a cigarette. Oh, I had a cigarette. I feel bad about that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
stressed out
shouldn't
again.
have
Now I reach to the
drink.
candy.
I like how it went from cigarette tapos candy is somehow lower.
Yeah, well. I heard, and again, I'm not a doctor, that if you had to choose between a plate of rice and a cigarette, have a cigarette, it inflames your body at a lesser time period than like French
Interesting.
fries.
Interesting. I should try that, bro. Thank you very much. But you were going also to we turn to addiction.
Yeah,
Actually, I think
because yeah,
we get addicted to the lower vibrational stuff. Precisely because they're
Yeah,
so easy.
it's easy, it's quick, and at the end of the day, all these things we can see of as solutions, right? There are good solutions, there are bad solutions. So we get to choose what we want, I guess.
Yeah, it's the cost lang, cost.
There has to be also a way to
Mm,
practice stress resilience where on a day-to-day basis, you can create habits for yourself that either prevent you from getting stressed. There's meditation, there's prayer,
mm.
there's a morning workout, afternoon workout, right? That makes you feel better. There's sauna, massages. So
Those
there
are
is that. I guess there has to be a way for us as we get older as well to plan for these day-to-day little hacks or little
yeah.
habits that kind of guarantee that you'll be at a minimum when it comes to being stressed out.
Uh, well, that's interesting. So a baseline level of stress, you're saying.
No, like a baseline level of
Mm,
protocols, a series of protocols. Like for me, it's like, okay, in the morning, I'd like some time for myself. So I'll wake up a little bit
mm,
early. I'll
mm,
enjoy a cup of coffee where I plan my day out. That way I don't
mm,
rush through things. Like one thing that gets me a bit stressed would be whenever I'm rushing, when I feel
mm.
overwhelmed with too many things. I want to take my
Uh-huh.
time in the morning. I have 30 minutes to just get things done at my own pace, right? How about
Ah,
yourself?
well, what you said nga is very important because actually human beings need novelty. So we are beings that crave stuff that's new. But one of the healthiest things we can do for ourselves though is to also have structure into our lives. So predictability lowers stress. In
Mm-mm.
fact, there is a interesting fact here na I recently dug up. Now, the reason why some stressed out and depressed, anxious people tend to watch TV series which they've already watched a million times is
Mm.
precisely to reduce their anxiety. And they do this because I didn't write the phenomenon name, pero if we watch something whose outcome we already know, we are convinced that we are in control of our life.
Okay, interesting.
We watch a TV series, there is a problem which we are empathizing with the main character with.
Mm,
We
mm.
know how it's going to be solved. That transfers to our psyche na parang, okay, I know what's gonna happen. I'm in control of my life.
Interesting.
Interesting. Super
Wow, okay.
interesting, bro. Mm-hmm.
Well, there has to be really a better way of like also
Huh.
measuring, right? Like there is nowhere. I
Assess.
think right now some wearables have that where okay, I can say I'm pretty stressed right now. I should probably like
Mm-hmm.
chill out. Because apparently,
Mm-hmm.
like when you perceive stress, just perceiving stress, right? Not
Yes.
even experiencing stressful things. Just
Mm-hmm.
perceiving stress actually causes our cortisol to spike in the body, right? The stress hormone. Now,
Ah,
cortisol,
yes.
to my understanding, is a key hormone, right? We need it to wake up in the morning. It gets us
Mm-hmm.
moving. But chronic stress
True.
does deplete this hormone, which is actually replaced by something called neuroepinephrine, right?
Wow. Okay.
Now, this actually makes your blood pressure increase, heart rate
Mm.
increase, then it feels like an anxiety attack. So you're always on the edge.
Mm.
Like these stressed out people all the time, like hard talk to
Mm.
deal with. That's probably it. Now, again, I'm not a doctor. If there's any doctor listening to me, am I full of shit? Please let me know.
Feel,
Right.
you know what? Or better yet, just feel free to correct us in the comments below.
Right. And if you think about that,
Pero,
neuroepinephrine's effect, right? It because of the blood pressure increase, the heart rate increase, what
mhm,
happens, right? You're basically just perceiving stress. When you have real stress, someone
mhm,
dies,
mhm.
you lose your job, it's gonna lead
Okay.
to an even worse time for yourself, the autoimmune disease, mental breakdowns. It's all
Mm.
because we can't regulate the stress hormone in our body, right? And the doctors
Yeah.
say it's not overnight. It's gonna happen like in 20 years, 30 years. So like
Deep.
my doctor friend famous keeps saying that if you're sick with a serious illness, it's because you did the wrong thing for about 2 decades.
So yeah, so it builds up, damage builds up.
Mm, 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 mm.
I believe yung semi-related, pero actually the three
For
ways our
anybody,
bodies
for anybody in wondering, I got that info from Dr. Craig Conover. So it's I'm
wow,
not pulling shit off my ass, guys. I'm just
someone kept receipts.
Yeah.
Pero from that standpoint though, parang the three ways our bodies telegraph, especially in terms of physical activity, na is it's being pushed is one, tiredness, which usually isn't our limit,
Mhm.
tiredness. The second one is disease. It means your body is pulling resources from our immune system, let's say, to repair something structural. And if someone, let's say an athlete, a super competitive, insists on taking painkillers and pushing themselves with 2-a-day workout 6 days a week, that's when injury occurs. Kasi even then, your
Yeah.
body is not enough to, you have muscle tears. I remember when I was playing frisbee semi-competitively for states.
Oh wow. Ultimate frisbee?
Ultimate. I don't want to call it ultimate kasi it's so
Why not?
parang alam mo yun, parang ultimate na ba to? Parang no. Anyway, I played there for a few months, going around. Then it culminated in this beach tournament called Wildwood.
Mhm.
And I played for 2 days straight under the sun, as in no rest, very dehydrated, tuloy 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 tuloy. Then when I got home, because that was in forgotten on Sunday, it was I think in New York State, so it was a beach there. Tapos I went back to Virginia to my uncle's, and there was a pickup game, and
Mhm.
I played. I played in a 3-hour pickup game, and near the tail
Three
end of that
hours.
evening, 3 hours, bro. Ganun ako
Wow.
ano. I was like 31. Anyway, it rained. So when it rains, your clothes get heavier.
Right.
Okay, and I was wearing football cleats because those were my training boots. And near the end of the game, biglang I just twitched for a sprint, and biglang may snap.
Ooh.
It was so loud na I didn't even feel it kasi it didn't feel sa knee. A lot of people think about the walnut cracking sound ACL. But it was loud enough na my defender looked at me and goes, "Was that you, bro?" And I looked down at my feet and I'm moving my knees. Yeah, but I don't think it's broken. It turns out I had snapped my calf muscle.
Wow.
As
Must have
in, as
hurt
in
like a
you,
motherfucker after.
it did. You know, thing, bro. It doesn't hurt.
Oh, okay.
So my calf muscle was like this. It basically just bunched up.
Okay. How do you fix
But
that?
it didn't hurt. It self-healed, but I could only limp na. I couldn't move na.
Oh, right, right, right.
So I wore crutches for about a week and it healed. Pero basically that's the end of my frisbee career for that year.
Happens. It happens.
It happened, bro.
Could be
Pero again, it's
worse.
stress.
It could be worse. It could be
Could
an
have been a lot
ACL
worse.
or
Could
an
have been a lot worse.
MCL. With
I
6 month
believe you had.
recovery.
Did you have an ACL, MCL?
I've had a few MCL tears that healed with stem cell therapy. Thank God.
Stem
But
cell therapy.
yeah.
Amazing, bro. When was this? And on what
Um,
sport?
Muay Thai,
Muay
kickboxing.
Thai. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Those
So
deadly
there.
sports talaga.
So yeah.
Talaga.
So at the end of the day, I think.
Hmm. Pero in terms of supplementation, what would you suggest to listeners today
Oh, I
that deal with
suggest.
stress? I have a list then.
So I suggest seeing your doctor. That's what I think. Because for me, like the vitamins I take and the supplements I take are specific to what I need. And I don't
Aha.
ascribe to a one size fits all protocol
Policy.
for anybody because we're all different people. We have different genetic makeups, we're different people, different lifestyles. I mean, it might
Pero
not
ako, I have
be
a list.
meaningful. Oh
Uh-huh.
yeah, what's your list? Let me know.
But I have a list that I've prescribed to people, and over the years, a lot have also anecdotally agreed that these do help. So
Okay.
cheap amongst them, although kind of expensive, for the better quality ones is fish oil.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
Fish oil. Magnesium also helps because
Mm.
magnesium is required for a huge number of processes of the body, and we don't get enough of it, especially with today's heavily farmed processed foods. And the
But
third one is
there are many kinds of magnesium, right? There's magnesium threonate, magnesium glycate.
threonate.
So like there are different kinds or different
Mhm.
goals, I think.
Yes. Yes, each one is supposed to target a different cell sa body, but I would recommend anything that ends in an 8. It means that the magnesium is bound to another element, which makes it easier for our bodies to digest. So
Right.
magnesium, like you said, threonate, which is also super expensive, but highly absorbable.
Yeah.
Glycinate, malate,
There you go.
citrate, all of those are good stuff. And the third one is vitamin D3, although we can get it from the sun. A lot of us are not
Yeah.
into the sun. So vitamin D3 is necessary for a whole host of things, including the immune system, fat cell metabolism, sleep.
Right.
So a lot of that. So again, fish oil,
You take a lot.
magnesium, and D3. Dude, that's better. Those are the things I've been taking for about 12 years now,
Uh-huh.
and they have never let me down.
Wow.
So
Interesting.
just take it out. Ang suggestion ko lang, just take it out of your the stuff you put to skin nyo, because I don't.
You don't put any like
I don't,
moisturizer
bro.
or any
I don't,
facial
bro.
wash? No.
I believe no, none.
Fair
I
enough.
believe in from the inside.
Right.
So
Well,
yun.
there we
So
go.
quick
There we go,
tips.
everybody. Any anything else,
Getting
Reg?
comments. I'm good, bro. So it's a really quick episode lang. I hope people took away something from stress. A little segue there into safe spaces, and that yeah.
Safe
Wait,
space,
yoga,
right?
Matt. Diba you do yoga?
Yeah, I do. I enjoy yoga. It's pretty
It
fun.
helps a lot to stress, although it's very stressful for me.
We should try a session one time. We should
All
join a
right.
class and check it out, right? That should be
I really have
interesting.
a difficult time with yoga though.
Oh, you'd love
Probably
it.
because pero dude, nasi-stress ako kasi I know I'm not that flexible. So it's like
Oh, it's not just
that's
that.
tough.
Like, it's not just the flexibility. It's after 30 minutes, 30 minutes in, you want to die. You're like, get me out of here. But after, when you're finished
You're
with it,
really
you're like, I
selling this
feel
well, bro.
really good. I feel really good.
Oh,
Oh shit, when can I do this again? That's
sige, bro.
like there's there's
I
a
will
key difference between me before the class, me after the
uh-huh.
class.
30-minute class to, bro. Or
Normally
45.
it's about an hour. There's 75 minutes. There's 90 minutes. 90 might be the longest, but I might be wrong.
Man. Okay, can I suggest something to make this less stressful? Can we do like a movie yoga class? Let's say while we're doing yoga, biglang Dune is playing sa
No,
background.
can't do that. No, you can't
No,
do that.
can't do that.
No,
No. Okay.
because with yoga,
Because
it's
the
not
treadmill you
just
can.
yeah, it's not just like moving your body, right? You're actually also breathing as you move.
Uh-huh.
And that's
Yep.
controlled by the instructor. You know what I mean? And that's very,
Yeah.
very important. At the end of the day,
Mm.
like yoga's not really a sweaty workout only. I really think it's also like it's kind of a meditation. It's a preparation for your
Meditation.
body to get good at meditating as well. That's why the last pose of yoga shavasana is the
Mm-hmm.
corpse pose. You just still for a few minutes.
Kailan yung child pose? I mean, shouldn't we start with the child pose
No,
muna?
it doesn't.
Or do we
Like
get
it
reborn
depends.
into the child's pose?
No,
Is
it
that
depends.
incarnation yoga? No.
It depends. Yeah, it depends. Yes. Okay. Well, thanks
Anyway,
everybody. Thanks for listening,
dude,
and we'll
thanks for
see you again
listening.
soon. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Wow.